Welcome back. We're at the Misty Mountain Games Premodern Fall Cup. We're in our top four now. On your left, you're going to see Peter McGrain playing Survival Madness. And on the right, Michael Phillips playing his Enchantress build. I'm here with Mike Heup. I'm Brian Kowal. And man, it's 5:30. We're in the 70s.
We're cruising.
It's cruising. This one's going right by.
Okay, so this is not a matchup. This is not a matchup that I'm super familiar with. I mean, I guess I don't know how many interactive pieces that Peter has in terms of dealing with enchantments.
I gotta think this has to be a little rough for Survival Madness.
I think so too. It's like I don't think they're fast enough or disruptive enough.
It's more like a relevance thing to me. Like, I don't know what the Madness deck does that, like, I guess you, to be fair, like, Survival Madness can pretend it's an aggro control deck sometimes.
Yeah.
You know, play some
guys, pressure and counter a few spells.
Yeah. Apply pressure, counter spells, win. That's the A plus B equals win. But it's not that fast, and Enchantress kind of has a way against counter magic sometimes, I think.
Yeah, but I
guess we stop their key card.
That's more in the sense of like the counter magic isn't against a clock. Like if someone goes Wild Mongrel, Arrogant Wurm, that's a lot different than someone just going island, 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 island. So
yeah,
we'll see how this develops. Because
the first step is Wild Mongrel.
Yeah,
Madness decks, there's draws you have Wild Mongrel, and there's draws you don't, and they're very different. And the Wild Mongrel ones are much easier in general.
Yeah.
Right. Michael has Enchantress's Presence, the slower of the two, but it's still coming on turn 2. Peter, holding the Daze, though, is going to make it happen there. Stop that Enchantress's Presence.
I feel like that's the first Daze we've seen today. People were asking about the number of islands in this top 8. I'm trying to think. So we had,
I think it might just be.
We had Welder, Survival, Terror Oath, Dark Secret, Mulch Oath. None of those did. Welder, Survival, Enchantress. Just Survival Madness here.
Wow, what a change!
Yeah, especially for the Madison. I feel like we're always sporting islands.
This is exactly what Peter wants. Michael does not have any way to draw cards right now.
Well, I mean, an Elephant Grass definitely like slows him down.
Yeah, it does. It's going to buy him a little bit of time, but I think the pressure Peter gets here is, or he can kind of wait it out, I think.
Yeah, the problem is, I guess it depends on what Michael's doing in these next few turns. But I mean, this Elephant Grass can stay around for a few turns.
Right, but if he's doing without the card drawer, I think he can't do that for a super long time.
Yeah.
He also has to tap one of his 2-mana lands in order to pay the upkeep, which is kind of.
It's awkward the first turn.
Yeah.
It's not so awkward the second time.
I mean, I guess if he has a land, he can get Enchantress's Presence and be back in it. But if Peter's another Daze, it's not going to look good for him.
I guess the one thing is, like with the Survival Madness deck, it's not like a burn deck where you get him low and then you can like finish him off. Peter's still gonna have to win through the combat phase, and like here, like is an example of if Michael kind of aligns the right pieces, I think he really does good job of shutting down combat. So
Michael is choosing a worship here.
So
a bit of a surprise to me.
He's not.
He's burying it.
So his plan just worship, and then he does have an.
Oh, is his plan worship Opalescence?
Okay. I mean, the blue-green decks are not traditionally known for their plethora of removal spells.
Yeah.
So, but
Daze
count as a removal spell?
It does in this case.
Yeah.
It's hard to fit that stuff in a Madness deck. Madness is like, it requires so many cards to do its thing.
All right, so Peter gets to attack for 5 thanks to discarding an Arrogant Wurm, and then
4.
Oh, 4, yep.
That's not be right.
And gets to add an Arrogant Wurm to the board. So this is a lethal amount of damage, and I don't think if Michael's passing the turn, I don't think there's instant speed things. Like every now and then, someone might play like a Decree of Justice, but there's not.
I don't think there's anything.
Unless you're Andrew Walker, like who plays Moments Piece a lot. I don't think there's much that Michael's doing here. All right. Yep. That with the pump of the Rootwalla, that is enough.
Gonna be a game 1 for Peter. So I was wrong.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, we talked about the way that Peter would win would be committing a Wild Mongrel and then like backing up with counterspells, and that's exactly what happened. So maybe we're not
right.
wrong. Yeah.
Yeah, we were right. We were right.
Right. Definitely right. Also, that was just like straight blue-green madness. No survival. No, not needed. We're just gonna do this.
The good half of the deck.
Good guy magic.
Just kidding.
No one can be mad at Wild Mongrel Basking Rootwalla.
I'm not a big buyer on survival madness personally, because I always feel like,
I'll be honest, I've never played it, and I haven't played against it that much. I'm not high on the regular version of survival either, but
madness.
Yeah.
I love madness, but I just can never feel like it's good, no matter how I build it.
I think I've seen it a few times, but it not a lot. I like the one where they play survival and then have Volrash Shapeshifter, the Triskelion, and Devourer. I feel like having that is a nice that
really,
adds
a nice dimension.
Yeah, that you don't expect out of a blue-green deck, and you can play like, okay, if I play slower, that's fine, because if I get to the point where I'm able to have a survival plus some amount of mana, I can just win on the next turn.
We should have kept track of all the forests in the top 8, because everyone was playing green. That would have been cool.
Well, the Mulch Oath deck, or like Ricky's deck, has a ton, right?
A ton of different ones.
A bunch of forests, doesn't he?
But wait, which artwork?
Oh, which artwork? Oh, okay.
I just saw Mike Harris asking what.
You just said keep track of the forests.
Yeah.
And so I didn't know you meant the quality, and I thought you meant the quantity. Which forest art is Michael running? I can't even picture it right now.
I can't remember it. Somebody said Japanese Portal.
Huh. Well, maybe that's a question we should ask.
What's you like your unglued lands?
Yeah, I like the Onslaught ones a lot. I use those ones a lot. The Mirage ones are good. So I guess I'll say, like, I like to have a set of lands where I like all the arts, and there's a ton of sets where I like 4 of them, and there's like one I just don't really like. I'll say even the unglued ones, like I don't really like the plains. I think it's like pretty bad. At least relative to the other ones.
Which of the land types in Mirage don't you like?
The forest. I don't like.
I think I'm with you.
There's just no forest. There's no forest that I can like really enjoy, and all the other ones are really good.
Yeah.
There's a couple of swamps I really like. Island I really like. A couple of mountains I like.
The swamps are great.
Yeah.
Mirage. I love this. I love the swamps. I love the islands.
Yeah.
I like the plains too. Like I almost never really like plains, but like I can get behind plains with some animals now.
Okay.
You know?
There's Portal Second Age has an island, a plains, a mountain. The forest one's pretty good. I don't like any of the swamps.
Yeah.
I think there's actually a swamp that you like, but I'm not that big of a fan of it.
The Gold Swamp from Portal 1. The best swamp ever printed. The gold. Yeah. That's the one I like.
I don't know. Mirage. Chat's Comical Flop saying Mirage Plains are meh. I don't know. I think they're pretty cool, and I think a lot of them.
The Ox Plains,
Zebra
Plains.
Those are good ones. But I think, in terms of ones that I enjoy, all 5 arts, it's Onslaught.
Take is meh.
There's
Onslaught's pretty good. Yeah.
There's one of each of them that I really like. So I'll just go with that. What about you?
I like that Portal Swamp I'm talking about, which you don't remember.
Is it the Susan Van Camp one, or is it the one with the branch that's like?
It's the gold one, with like a whole bunch of yellow light on it. It's totally sweet.
I'll do an internet
Look,
search right now.
go- you-
I
go
can't bring
look
it up
at
on my fetcher, but you just keep talking. Keep
Right.
keep-
The I like a lot of islands.
Yeah,
Like,
I
I
do
really I really like that Mirage one that everybody likes. I think it's a great
So
one.
this one you like?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I also can't mix Portal with Portal Second Age.
Yeah, that doesn't work. Well, you can. Why not?
It's maybe.
I think if you mix any two sets, it's Portal Second Age.
I think this is well, they can't see it. I
'Cause-
think the Susan Van Camp is probably my favorite Portal Second Age one. It's fine.
Oh, I don't like that one that much.
No.
I think it looks kind of too sketchy.
Sketchy is
Sketchy.
like little like
a
sketch.
sketch.
Okay.
Yeah. Forest. I love the 7th edition Weird Tree one. That's like my favorite forest.
Okay.
Unfortunately, it's white border, but I still love it.
Are you a fan of Urza Saga at all?
The Mirage Mountains I love. I like Ursa Saga.
I like Urza Saga.
I don't like the swamps. People like the swamps.
I don't like any of the forests. I really like the plains and the island.
Yeah,
and
the forest I don't like that.
The mountain's pretty cool. The swamp is not great.
Yeah.
Chad has recommended Ice Age. I don't like the framing of Ice Age. Or like, it's too washed out.
The framing of Ice Age.
Yeah, like not the actual art, but like the.
Yeah. It's like it washed out's a good way to explain it. I like the artworks though.
Yeah,
I like some of them really work for me too. Like I like that old dead tree swamp. You know what I'm talking about? That one's cool.
Well, we didn't talk a lot about sideboarding, but we got.
I just thought of that too.
We got some important stuff down.
Sideboarding a lot.
Oh yeah, I don't recognize that.
But then we got on basic lands. I was doing so well not talking about basic lands much today.
That's okay. Chad asked for it. We gave them what they wanted. No one asked about sideboarding. I didn't see anything. We did get a comment that this would be great if we could see what they were talking about. Yeah, I couldn't bring up those arts. Sorry, my fetcher doesn't have that capabilities.
Can you just make one that like you can like look up a card on Scryfall and then it puts a card on?
Yeah, I probably could figure that out.
That probably would be that'd be cool. Like for these types of. All right. Well, we got both players got their ideal 2-drop.
Yeah.
Argothian Enchantress versus Wild Mongrel. Michael is going to add a Elephant Grass, and whoa, that's a second Enchantress, and no Daze from Peter. So Michael's really off to the races here. This is going to be a huge uphill battle for Madness, I think. Going first is really big in this matchup.
Yeah. I mean, we've talked about the Enchantress kind of as like that Steam Engine deck.
Yeah.
And also like against the Daze deck, yeah, being on the play is really good.
Yeah. Just like, yeah, it's just waiting to turn the corner.
Or the turn of attacking, like one extra turn of attacking could be a big deal for Peter. All right, Careful Study is gonna
for
the Elephant Grass attack. So Careful Study made a Basking Rootwalla, and he also discarded, I believe, it was a Squee, and then 2 mana allowed the Wild Mongrel to attack through Elephant Grass. So Michael's gonna pay 1 on the cumulative upkeep, and now he's got 3 mana. I'll note Sarah's Sanctum was played
for a Solitary Confinement, which is going to draw him 2 cards, and he's got.
So this is an interesting spot to play this. I think it's an indication that there's not a lot of enchantments in Michael's hand, or maybe there are a lot.
I think it's more like that.
Okay. Because I would say, it
is weird for him to play that if he doesn't hit. Well, yeah, because he'd rather just play a cheap enchantment, draw more lands, and develop your mana base, right?
But it could be saying, I'm going to take a turn off. Like, I'm going to take the turn of spending all my mana now.
Yeah.
I can lose the Elephant Grass, and then I'm not taking chip damage, and then I'm able to kind of really turn the corner next turn. Yeah, what color do you make the Wild Mongrel? Do you change its color? No.
I like green cards.
I definitely do on Magic Online because it actually changes it. And I get to see it. I know one match I tried to make them all 5 colors at one point.
Frantic Search from Peter is going to turn that Squee into a new card. And got another Frantic and a Naturalize and a Survival in his hand, it looks like.
Do you want to know what's a combo? Solitary Confinement plus City of Brass.
No damage.
Did
I've had that.
Did it take you that long to
No, I played it before, I guess so before, and like I was like, he's got a bunch of cities, he's gonna have a hard time doing anything, and then like
I just gotta know because there's probably like someone in chat be like, Michael didn't take damage from his city of Brass.
See,
I guess I
would have waited for that.
I will be fair. Chat actually has been really helpful in terms of catching a lot of mistakes that players have missed and we have also missed today. So
Chat's helpful. We like chat.
I agree. A survival has resolved for
Here's
Peter.
a City of Solitude.
I want to talk about the survival. So does this change the dynamic? Does like Peter have a new game plan thanks to the survival? Like, or
I
is
don't
he just...
see. This is why I don't love the survival in this deck, because I feel like it doesn't do that much.
Okay.
You know, like the end result is not a lot of extra versatility, which is usually what I want from survival. It's like rock hard advantage, so you can like puke a bunch of creatures out into play.
Okay.
But we were already doing that, right?
All right. So City of Solitude was cast, and in response, Peter took the time to cast Naturalize since he wouldn't have that option till his turn next time. Ooh, now we see Michael now has to take a damage from his City of Brass. He could have tapped that one in response to the Naturalize. All right. Cast a Wild Growth, draws him 2 cards, then he's able to cast an Elephant Grass to draw him 2 more cards. So still not a bad exchange if you're Michael.
Peter's gonna get the Squee back. He has another Frantic Search.
All right, so Wild Mongrel has paid the Elephant Grass tax.
And he's going to play the Arrogant Wurm off it.
No, now I understand why Mike was saying that he should change Wild Mongrel to black. Because it would be sweet to have a Wild Mongrel attacking, a black Wild Mongrel attacking through an Elephant Grass. So you attack first and then change his color.
Oh, yeah.
That would be cool. That took me a while.
That's good. That's good.
All right, Exploration is coming down. So this is like a great card in the spot where you have 2 Enchantresses effects going because
I'm surprised you let that grass go.
He might have Replenish.
Yeah, he probably.
Well, he also has Sterling Grove, which he could set up and get a ton of good cards.
The thing is, even if, well, I guess it resets the upkeep. Even if he has Replenish, he only loses one.
Can he just Sterling Grove? Oh, he does have Replenish.
He loses 1 mana next turn.
Ooh, he should have put Worship on top.
I'll sack the... Yeah, he should.
Sterling Grove,
I agree. I think he should have sacked
play.
the Sterling Grove there. Maybe he's going to use all his mana this turn. He's already thought about this, so...
Yeah. I mean, I still like his position.
Credit. Yeah, this is looking pretty dominant here.
I'm just trying to read the notifications on my phone.
What's that?
Because my phone is the one being used as the life counter, and I can see that there's like a notification going through it. I'm trying to figure out what it is.
Does Peter have Tranquil Domain? That's a very good question.
All right, well, I'll figure that out.
Spoilers. We can find out.
I will look. So, Peter...
You expect us to tell you if he has an out here?
No, but he has something even spicier.
Oh. What's that?
Right? I think that's what this card does. Let me... Hold on.
Harmonic Convergence?
No.
That would be spicier.
Is it Reverent Silence what I think it is?
Yes, it is.
Yes.
Free.
That one. There is one of those in his sideboard. So We could see a
That's
very
a little weird because
he's got an
he
enchantment of
has
his own.
enchantments. Well, I guess Trail Demand would do that too, though.
Oh, gaining him 6 life. I mean, sometimes seems relevant for the madness deck, but
I think Peter was shaking his head like he did something.
I guess
Maybe he forgot to untap his lands and could have done more stuff.
So what was the sequence? Was it had to do with Wasteland or is he discarding Wasteland to Frantic Search?
No, he wastelanded the Sarah
Sanctum. Okay. And then unable to deal any damage thanks to solitary confinement, he passes turn, and now Michael is doing a lot of things.
He certainly is.
Okay, Words of War. This is a way for Michael to win.
You know what I was thinking today? What if you just like put some good cards in your Enchantress deck? Like, just like 4 Plows main.
I've seen some.
Maybe played 3 colors, played like some counter magic or something, Like played more like a control deck that has like a big like.
Well, I don't know if I like playing counter spells. Like, you just not want a heavy density of enchantments anymore?
Yeah, I guess you want to tap your lands every turn. It's running away.
Yeah, so Michael passing the turn. I mean, barring this Reverent Silence, I don't know.
Yeah.
What was that one?
That's the Reverend Silence?
I think he does.
This is where if Michael would have listened to me play the Nature's World in his deck, he could just like lock the game up
With Words of War?
with Opalescence and Parallax Wave, and not that he has any of those cards in play right now. Why is he paying mana for it?
Just because he doesn't want him to gain life.
I guess that's true.
So Michael can activate a Sterling Grove.
Or 2. Or
well,
1, yeah.
He can do 2, yes. not as effective though. He doesn't even. Don't you want 1, or does he want to draw Replenish?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe he has Replenish.
I mean, he's got a million cards in his hand. Oh, he's got a Swords. Okay. Okay, so Argothian Enchantress
Wow, the fear.
does have the ability to block, and is gonna use that skill. The Basking Rootwalla and Arrogant Wurm, I'm gonna deal 7 damage. Man, this was a game that I just thought Michael was in full control of.
I want to block there.
Wouldn't he? Doesn't he?
He discards his last card. He goes to 1.
Oh. He does have a city. He has 2 city res. He has 2 city reses in play.
True.
But I guess if you're digging for the Replenish, we're counting enchantments.
It's too late. They're still there.
And yeah, that we had resolved that Reverent Silence. So yeah.
Peter drops the pen. Well,
remember these wild growths?
How many elfin or he's got confinement coming back. All right. He just drops the pen in disgust.
And I mean, Peter knows that he only has 1 copy. I mean, that's not something that Michael knows.
Yeah.
So I mean,
when you play your 1 outer and then they replenish show back into play the next turn.
Yeah. All right, I'm back to the advantage bar. I think is back in Michael's.
Yeah, it'd be funny if Michael, when he buried the wild growth, like, oh, don't worry, they'll be back.
This Sarah Sanctum will be tapping for mana this turn.
Yes.
Well, maybe it won't. But
Needs an lessons. Or I don't know. Maybe he should have just. I guess he wants to draw enchantments because he wants to get his Words of War going.
Yeah, I mean he can just if he has a white enchantment, he can deal how much damage? Because he would draw. There's how many Enchantresses presence and how many Argothian
3.
Enchantress. So he could deal 6 to stuff.
Yep. Every time he plays an enchantment, he can just choose to do 6.
All right, Peter just untaps, draws, passes a turn.
I was listening to Spike Colony yesterday, and they were talking about they had Cam Fulton on there talking about his Enchantress deck, and he just plays Words of Wind instead of Words of War now.
Okay. I will say,
just bounces everything.
I have played against Words of War a lot, and it's been like on the other side. I'm not playing the Enchantress deck, so whatever deck I'm playing, and Words of War has been like a card I'm afraid of a lot of the time. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
It will kill you, right?
It's been very good the times that I played against it. And I don't know if Words of Wind would have been good in that situation, but also, well, I guess you're probably not playing.
It can kill pretty quickly.
I would say you're probably not playing Wooded Foothills in a mountain in your deck, so I was gonna say it's a little easier to cast, but I don't know if that's true.
Like, he just needs to play 3 enchantments, and
all right. So before the elephant grasses die, well, this is during upkeep though. Can you use this mana in your upkeep?
I think he's thinking about about letting the Solitary Confinement go just so he gets a draw.
No, I don't think the order is like that.
You skip your draw step with Confinement, right?
Yeah, I think it's like the Oh, I guess you could. Okay.
Why did he put the 6 counters on his?
He added 6 mana with
okay.
Sarah's Sanctum, but isn't it more than that?
Seems like it has.
I mean, there's 2 Wild Growths, 2 Sterling Growths. There were 3 Elephant Grass. There's like a million.
Yeah.
Maybe it's 51 or 15. Is it 15? There were 3 Elephant
15,
Grass. 1, 2, 3, 4.
He's got 3 Wild Growth.
Okay, 15 seems very reasonable in this situation.
Is he shooting at his creatures?
But how are we?
Can't. Yeah, he can't do anything because he's got. He's got.
How are we drawing cards?
I think he played Enchantress's Presence.
Okay, so then the activation of the Sarah Sanctum was not before the Elephant Grasses died. I was thinking it was. It must not have been, because then you wouldn't be able to use the mana for a Sorcery Seed spell. So okay.
I don't get that play
Of taking out the creatures.
Yeah, I mean, I guess he can't possibly lose if he kills the creatures. That's pretty good. All right, I like it. It seemed like he could have just killed him. He had so much mana in play. If he just draws cards with the Enchantress's Presence, he's going to draw 4 cards. And then after that, every enchantment he plays after that gets 5 activations. So he only needs to play 2 enchantments after drawing 5 cards to kill his opponent. And like Peter could have drawn in, maybe he draws a Reverent Silence, I don't know.
Okay.
He passed the turn.
Yeah. All right. So we've seen. I mean, that game actually was really close. I mean, I think Peter could have won that game.
Yeah, it was that was a pretty good game.
But I mean, the first game was just a slam dunk, I think, for Peter.
Was it super close? I mean, Michael kind of was in control the whole time.
Yeah, I mean, like maybe from Michael's perspective because he had that replenish, but I mean, like Peter drawing that Reverend Silence, he definitely. I mean, like you had to be feeling pretty good in that spot.
I mean, he dropped the pen. We saw it. I love the pen drop.
I'm gonna go check the status of the other match.
We can talk about sideboards. Reveal all that. Peter's Simic Madness deck, also known as Mana Survival. He's got Hydroblast, no. Pyrokinesis, no. Cave-In, maybe. He has 2 Cave-Ins, which I think are probably pretty good for him to bring in. 3 Naturalize and 1 Reverent Silence. So he's bringing like 6 cards. Probably doesn't need the Wonder. Probably doesn't need the Waterfront Bouncer. And he played a Force Spike. Mania. Force Spike and Daze? Do you think he keeps his Dazes in?
I don't know, but how often is it easier to cast Force Spike than Daze? Are there no Signature Logic?
Almost never easier, I would think. He doesn't play. None of these Madness people, none of these Cyberpunks play Circular Logic. I don't think it's bad.
They just want to tap out.
I love Logic.
Me too.
I'll pay 1 mana, counter any spell.
You want to know cards great with
please.
Circular Logic? It's definitely Coliseum. But I guess it's a little harder to get the threshold with the Madness deck than the Psychotogolist that I'm thinking.
Yeah.
But
Wild Mongrel's pretty good with it too.
I never played Standard with Odyssey cards. It was like right when I was getting into the format. I wish it seems like so fun. Was that format great? What did you play?
In Odyssey?
Yeah.
So at that time, Madness was like so good that it really like warped the format to Madness. So you kind of were like, a lot of decks just couldn't beat Madness.
Was
like,
red green like beats good against Madness?
No.
It was good against Psychotog though.
In Standard?
Yeah.
Wild
Mongrel, Fiery Temper.
When I played red green beats.
No, I just knew it was a deck.
I put that on the map. GP Milwaukee. Look it up. But yeah, I played like Fiery Temper, Wild Mongrel. I was good against Tog, I thought.
Do you have Elephant Guide?
No.
I think that was the card that made it like good against Tog, but I'm not sure. I like a good Elephant Guide.
That's an opinion.
What? They kill your guy, you get another 3/3.
I played Reckless Charge, 4X.
Okay.
That card.
Have you played that in Premodern?
The first deck I put together for Premodern was red green with Reckless Charge. That was like the first thing I wanted to do.
Okay.
It was not great. Yeah, so like Mono Black Control was pretty good, and then when Judgment came out, Mirari's Wake became really powerful.
I mean, Tog was still a deck, right?
It was. I think it lost to Wake though.
Okay.
I can't remember entirely, but I think Wake had a distinct matchup advantage.
I mean, I know it was good in that Worlds when like Daniel Zink won, and it was the Tuomo Nieminen and Jerome Ramin. Did they all play Wake?
Yeah,
that was the Gabe Walls and
Was that with Onslaught?
Yeah, because Pierre Kroger played Goblin, Dave Humphreys played Madness. That is the first webcast I ever watched, and it's never like gone back up. It's always like been a dead link, and
really?
I want so bad to someone to find that webcast or have it, and like I want to watch it again.
It has to be in Humphrey's best interest to get that back up, right? He's there.
Yeah, it was.
So we should work on him.
It was a sweet top 8. All right,
looks like a double mulligan from Peter here to start game 3. Pretty rough.
I mean, the hand.
He does have
some pressure and a Reverent Silence.
He does have. Keep our voice down in case there aren't any people at the store anymore.
Yeah.
Although I don't think we have that problem. Like normally, for some reason, the events go really late and everybody's cleared out by the last couple matches.
I mean, there's also like another event.
Right now, there's still plenty of people playing.
There's another event with like other. I think it's a different card game. But...
Right. Yeah, they're playing Weiss Schwarz.
That's German.
Yeah, Weiss Schwarz.
Do you know what it's German for?
white black.
Yeah. What's the game? Like,
It's a bunch of anime properties
okay.
thrown into a blender, I think.
Have you played it?
No.
No.
They just did
Is it a board game or a TCG?
TCG.
Seems weird that you would name an anime themed by Schwartz.
Yeah, I don't understand it.
Right. Meanwhile, in this game,
they just added Avatar.
Survival of the Fittest has been added to Peter's board, while Michael has his 2-drop of power of Argothian Enchantress. I mean, would you rather have a survival on turn 2 or a Wild Mongrel? You're Peter.
I think Mongrel is a stronger card. We'll see what happens.
Okay.
Counterspell is going to stop the second Enchantress. It's probably pretty critical for Peter.
I do believe that. Yeah, okay. I would say Peter's at 17. Okay. Basking Rootwalla.
There he is.
Coming into play.
All right, I guess this Rob's better because he's going to get a lot of beats here. If I'm Peter here, I think I just run a whole bunch of Rootwallas out.
What is a group of lizards called? Like the collective noun. Do you think there's an official one, or can we make it up?
A blizzard.
Blizzard of lizards. I like it. I was gonna say a squad, but
It's gotta be a word for
it is a skitter of lizards.
skitter.
Yeah, I think a skitter does sound right.
Blizzard is better than
This is one of my favorite games. Also, ever talk about collective nouns of creatures?
It's messed up that English has a different word for every collection of animals,
I
right?
think it's awesome,
Isn't it? Well, it's
not
hilarious
completely
though that
unique.
it's a thing.
I think it's awesome.
I also think it's awesome, but it's also hilarious. It's a thing.
A push up of lizards. I wouldn't mind that either. All right. Meanwhile, Michael has an Enchantress presence. It's gonna get added. So the engines are rolling or starting to roll. This is the locomotive getting going. Murder of crows. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
A float of squid.
A parliament of owls. That's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
So I think. So if you're Peter, with nothing better to do, you're. Oh, there's confinement.
It's interesting. I'm like, how I always thought of this card as that like kind of like seals the deal, the solitary confinement, and we've seen it multiple times where it comes out a lot earlier than I would have thought.
Yeah, usually it's like, okay, I'm drawing as loaning cards. Let's get confinement.
I don't know if it's using as like a safeguard, or if it means your hand is really strong, or if it means your hand is really weak, or if it just depends.
Peter's getting the whole skitter here. I thought he would get Squee this time.
Okay.
And go get like some key creature, you know.
I mean,
if I did Survival Madness, I would like I play a bunch of Red Green Madness, and I don't even play Squee because I find like I don't get to a point. I do this every time.
Sure.
But I also play Cradle, and it's super good when you do this every time.
That makes sense.
And from here, and once I run out of shit, I don't want Squee either. I just go get a Genesis.
That makes sense because you have a Cradle engine.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense that you have that luxury.
So, well, I just think it feels like Cradle should be in this deck. I know all the Madness players are always like, no, dog, you can't, you know? But it seems a little weird not to have Cradle in your survival Basking Rootwalla deck that lets you just pay a green mana and add a creature to the board for free out of your deck. Like just feels like an interaction would come up a lot.
Yeah.
Sleuth of Bears, that's a good one.
Crash of Rhinos, but I feel like most Magic players know that one.
Yeah. Then I also like, you know, this is why I like red green madness better than blue green madness personally. because it plays into anger, which is like the strongest thing, the other strongest thing you can do with your graveyard. I'm just gonna sit here and talk about my own deck instead of the deck's playing. Don't mind me. Anyway, Michael has amassed 3 enchantressy things now.
He's like, you got 3 Rootwallas, I got 3 Argothian Enchantress.
3 1/1s versus 3 enchantresses.
3 0-1s.
Who will win?
Oh, I guess 1 is not the
They're
actual
1/1s.
creature form.
Oh, 3 0-1s versus, yeah. The enchantresses are 0-1s, yeah. Okay. Michael's going to be a forest and a Cirrus Sanctum. Currently
1,
tapping
2,
for 5
5
mana. Michael's a better Enchantress player than me because I always forget to count my
Wild growths.
My wild growths.
City
All
Solitude.
City of Solitude. Draw 3 more. Peter has to respond now because
of the city.
Because of the city.
So
he's gonna get Arrogant Wurm.
There's still the Reverent Silence in his hand, right?
There is. Yeah, he's gonna untap and brain him for a lot of damage. Yeah. Does the deck play anger? It must, right?
No, I don't think he has the mountain.
Well, they put... Yeah, that's probably true. He left the Wonder, so he can't even chump block. So Peter at 15, or Michael at 15, Peter untaps. He can... Peter untaps, he can Reverent, put him to 21, get him for 8. Or he probably hardcast it, right?
Is there anything that Michael can do to insulate like the effect of Reverent Silence? I mean, other than like get a replenish?
No, he's kind of...
I mean,
he can draw lots of cards and hopefully try to replenish.
I mean, Swords of Plowshares would be a card, but we've seen him discard 1. But like that would be a card to like have in your hand if things were to go awry, that you could have some interaction at that point.
All right, there's going to be... Well, this is...
But yeah, I think everything else is sorcery speed or enchantment based.
Yeah. Michael, I mean, if he has an opalescence...
If he...
he just got Seal of Cleansing, so he can actually like wipe all of his creatures.
So in the sideboard,
he just exiled his team.
Okay, I was gonna say, I was getting excited about the thought of Michael finding a sideboarded Karmic Justice, and that would be a decent way of insulating, protecting yourself.
Yeah, once you see the Tranquility, it's probably worth doing that because they just lose their whole board.
So that was Parallax Wave plus Seal of Cleansing.
Yeah. Classic combo. Just remove the creatures in response, seal the Parallax Wave, and they never come back. Ever.
Well, that doesn't feel great for Peter. I can say that much.
No.
How quickly can he rebuild? I mean, he can get like Rootwalla, discard Rootwalla, and go get Arrogant Wurm. Or I guess we can just do it in that other order.
See, everybody says survival's so good, but it's so... Look how mana intensive it is. You gotta like spend so much mana, do so much work to like really... the best you ever get to is like pay a green mana to draw a card, right?
Yeah.
And tutor for the best creature. But you still have to pay mana to play the creatures. It's good. It's for sure good, and I love the strategy. I love playing it. I just never feel like, even with Squee going, it's like a super... It never feels super dominant. It feels good.
It kind of feels like Recurring Nightmare in some ways, where it's just like you consistently have a threat.
Yeah. I think control players hate it, because control players specifically like, oh no, they're drawing a whole bunch of cards. That's what undoes them. But when I play against aggro-y decks and stuff like, or like a combo-y deck like this,
Okay.
a lot of times I don't think it bails me out so much.
Well, it's certainly less powerful than some of the decks like the Full English Breakfasts or the Hermit Febs, like,
Yeah,
or even the Elves deck.
it
like,
does depend what you're doing
Yeah.
with it.
But here it's a much fairer card.
Elves is the best one because it does both well. You know, it plays without survival fairly well, and then with survival, it just does banana. It can do really bananas things like a Feb deck would, where you're just killing them in 2 turns. Would never say it's not a great card.
No.
But I don't really think it's even a conversation for banning in my head. And maybe that's because I love survival a lot. But
All right. I mean, Michael just has.
yeah, he's doing his thing. He's playing enchantments. He's drawing cards.
I mean, he still is probably a little bit worried about that Reverent Silence. But I guess
you shouldn't be able to play 2 solitary confinements, right?
from the perspective of Peter,
I mean,
though,
what's
like,
even happening here now? Are you solitary confined or are you solitary confined? You know,
like he's kind of got to use the Reverent Silence in a spot where he deals a lethal amount of damage because it's almost guaranteed that Michael has a replenish in his hand. So unless he has a way to answer, I guess he could have counter magic. But it's also likely that Michael could just have another City of Solitude or something. Play that before the replenish.
Yeah. So.
Ooh, Opalescence coming down, and is this just enough damage?
Well, some of them are sick.
Okay. Also, Survival of the Fittest also would be a creature.
What's that?
Survival of the Fittest on Peter's side, also creature now.
A critical 2/2.
All right, we're going to discard here, right? So there was no attack at all.
It's not. Well, nothing's gonna get through that 4/4. Like a lot of those enchantments just came to play this turn, can't attack. I think you pump the brakes on that.
Okay, definitely want to keep her. I'm just looking at the cards that Michael's keeping. I will note that it looked like he discarded Swords, which might be the only card that I think you might want to have that he's not keeping. Ooh. So I think it's a lot of lands, Sylvan Library.
I wonder what Peter McGrain's boy, Lucas Carlson, is. Usually, those two usually come all these events together.
Do they come together usually?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I would hang on to Swords to Plowshares, but beyond that, everything else seems fine.
I love like those end of turn steps where your opponent had like 18 cards and you're just like looking at what they discarded and being like, okay, how bad is, you can just kind of tell how bad it is based on the quality of cards that they discarded.
Okay, I guess I'll note, so Michael's tapped out, so he doesn't have a white mana available, so maybe the Swords isn't.
Well, you can't play anything on Peter's turn anyway.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm assuming that there's a Reverent Silence. If Peter's not,
we saw it in his hand.
Well, I mean, if Peter's not doing that, you're not afraid of dying because there's a solitary confinement in play.
True.
So
he can't. I mean, if he does it, you've got to know there's a.
Ooh, I hope. Well, not that. I guess. Not that Arrogant Wurm would be attacking on this board state, but I was to say you could double block with both solitary confinements, and one would die, and then you would kill an Arrogant Wurm. All right, so, I mean, if Michael gets to untap, which seems very likely, is he going to be able to just kill Peter I guess if he gets, he can just. Oh, the problem with. So he would need to replenish, and then sacrifice the Sterling Groves, and then he could exile all of Peter's enchantments. Because if you have the Opalescence plus Parallax Wave, you can't target your own creature with it if you have Sterling Grove in play.
You can, yeah.
So, but I guess it's easy enough to get rid of those.
Yeah, well, you can wave them out.
No, because there's two of them in place.
Oh, there's two, yeah.
Here is a Reverent Silence. Right, so Michael's gonna gain 6 life. He gets to attack for 4.
I think he has to do it there. You can't like just hope that.
No, I
Well,
mean,
Michael
like,
has the Opalescence.
yeah, and there's a replenish, and yeah, that's enough.
Yeah.
For Peter to concede.
Yeah, I think Peter knew. You know, he's like, yeah, that's like probably like 80% my opponent's gonna replenish after I do this.
All right, I'm gonna quick check in on the other match.
Yeah. Yeah, it like what he really needs to assemble is a crypt. If Madness wants to win this matchup, I think it needs to have crypt and Reverent Silence. Then I can put something together. Like might has an outside inevitability. It's like another gear to the strategy, as the New Yorkers call it. To try to, because otherwise, like the way it's set up, their only gear is to be the beatdown plus counter spells.
All right, I got an update on the current match. So it's still going on. They're in game 3. It's Ricky Thorson against Schaefer, I believe is the name.
No, it was Trevor.
No, Trevor lost. We watched him on camera.
Oh yeah.
So it's Schaefer Hansen against Ricky Thorson, and they're in game 3. Ricky has 3 sphere resistance in play, a curse totem, and like 6 lands, while Schaefer has a survival, a Goblin Welder, a few lands, and like a Birds of Paradise or something. So there are treetop villages on on the battlefield for Ricky, so it looks like he's in pretty firm control. So we're not going to be moving them over to the camera match. If I read the board state correctly, it looked like a very difficult situation for Schaefer to get out of. So, yeah, do you want to talk for a little bit, or should we go on a quick break?
Let's take one more quick one, and then we'll be back for the finals. But stay tuned. Probably be about 15 minutes, maybe 10-15 minutes before we get to the final match here.
Okay, so stay tuned. We'll be back with the finals of the Premodern Fall Cup. Don't go anywhere.
Thanks.